Back, everybody. New tonight, we are uncovering more police reports alleging sexual assaults at a very popular Midtown nightclub.
Yeah, we've been all over the story since a woman says she was drugged and sexually assaulted at Opera Nightclub. The whole thing broadcast on Facebook Live. CBS 46's Brittany Miller is live at Opera Nightclub tonight. And Brittany, tell us what you've learned.
Well, let me just say, the deeper we dig, the more we find out. Last week, I discovered another allegation, and this week, I found two more. Startling information comes to the surface as we uncover new claims of sexual assault at Opera Nightclub. We discovered two more police reports. That brings the total to 4 allegations of sexual assault at the club in just the last 2 years.
Oh my God.
Here's what we've learned. Police say in March 2017, a woman was allegedly fondled by several males at Opera Nightclub while she was unconscious. Reports reveal in November 2017, another woman claimed she was sexually assaulted, saying the suspect tried to force his penis in her. Police also say she was robbed in that case.
Good God.
Then in December 2017, a woman alleges a man she knew forced her to perform oral sex on him against her will before he had vaginal sex with her against her will in the club's bathroom. And in that case, a man was arrested. Another suspect, Dominique was recently arrested following yet another reported sexual assault inside Opera. The victim is Jasmine Island. In January of this year, she said she was drugged and captured the alleged incident on Facebook Live. Island is now suing Opera Nightclub. And I talked to one of the attorneys representing Opera Nightclub. He says the club got new management in October of 2018, which means 3 of these alleged incidents happened before the new group took over. Sharon.
Very disturbing, Brittany. Have sexual assaults been reported at other nightclubs in Atlanta? What do you know about that?
So that's certainly the next step in this investigation. I have reached out to Atlanta police about that. So they're looking into this. We're looking into this. Right now, they don't believe that nightclubs are an area of concern when it comes to sexual assault. But of course, we'll let you know what we find out. In the meantime, I'll send it back to you.
All right.
Oh my goodness. I don't even know what to say. I'm speechless right now. Okay, so that is a lot. You know, before we break down what it is that I heard, and I'm hoping that you heard as well, let's jump into a statement that was made by Chris Stewart, who is the attorney representing Jasmine Island. Let's see what he says. He says, why was Opera Nightclub sued? Well, in a short time of investigating, we've discovered 4 allegations of sexual assault, rape, sodomy, another woman unconscious, against women inside the club in under 2 years. We have also uncovered allegations of some sort of sex group that live streamed from a VIP bathroom that led to an alleged rape. This is not a joke. No wonder this could happen to Jasmine Island. Repost and reshare. Safety matters. Protect our women. I don't know what that means. ATL not having it. Oh Lord, ATL not having it. Good gracious almighty. I'm stunned. You know what? But in the interest of time, rather than me sit here talking about how shocked I am, let's jump into what it is that we know. And you know what? Let me pull my light closer. Okay, there we go. Let's talk about what it is that we know. All right, so they're talking about 4 allegations. March 2017, November 2017, December 2017, which led to a person being arrested. And then we have January 2019. And then they say in October 2018, the club was under new management. Remember during the press conference, Stewart talked about some company from Las Vegas coming in and buying the club, etc. And now they're going to be looking into allegations of assault all over Atlanta inside nightclubs. And the police are going into it saying that they don't feel that nightclubs are an area of concern. If this is one nightclub, imagine, because you know what? Okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about what you've heard, what I've heard. All right. So one thing that we can say is that for all of 2018, there were no police reports filed on record. That doesn't mean that no assaults happened. It just means that there are none that are on record. Oh my goodness. And if you think about, okay, you know what? My mind is all over the place because I'm thinking about ketamine and the effect of ketamine and how when Jasmine Island first awoken from her ketamine-induced stupor that she didn't even realize that she had been drugged. In fact, she was still hanging out with Dominique. It wasn't until she started getting flashbacks by the time she got out to the car that she was like, wait a minute, something happened. And then that's when she started to freak out. So how many other women, because you know that there's another woman who went on the record talking about how Dominique had assaulted her on their first date. And she said that she had no recollection of it whatsoever, but stuff didn't feel right down there between her legs. I mean, ladies, you know what we mean when we say that. Something just don't feel right. And she said that there was a whole bust right in the middle part of her pants. Okay, what else do we know? We know that Chris Stewart is alleging that there's some sort, what is he calling this? A sex group. Some sort of rape group, a rape ring. Facebooking Live. You know what? Listen. I'm not going to spend much more time on this broadcast because my mind is moving faster than I can talk. Because right now I'm thinking about Jasmine Island and the fact that she was the one who broadcast her assault because she was on Facebook Live turning up before then. And then she had the phone that was attached to her hand by the ring, allegedly, right? And so I'm wondering whether or not there are secret groups or even secret websites or forums, rape rings that go around the city or different cities or focus in on one nightclub who go around assaulting women and women having no idea or waking up and feeling like something's not right or blaming themselves or whatever the case may be. What is this going to uncover? What are we going to find out from this? I think that this is a lot larger because you know what? Remember when the footage first broke, there were people who were alleging that they had seen Dominique the Creep in that club before up on someone. They'd said that they'd seen him someplace else assaulting a Caucasian girl. They said that they've seen him before, but these are allegations. I don't know. But what about this rape ring? What is going on? And you know what? Let me tell you, just like an iceberg, how we're able to see this amount from the outside. I can only imagine all of the stuff that exists underneath from the inside. You know what? Let me take if I had on a hat, I'd take well, you know what? I'll touch my gele in respect to Jasmine Island. And also the other woman who came out and backed up Jasmine. I don't want to say her name because you know, rape victims are kept confidential. So I'm not going to say her name. But the second young lady who came out, even though I know there are people out there who know her name, I'm not going to say it here, right? These women are making history. This is history in the making. The fact that the APD can say something like, oh, they don't think nightclubs are an area of concern. No, mofo. No, let's look into it. Let's look into it. So I tap my gele to these young ladies who are making history. You know, when history calls upon us to be made, sometimes we may not be ready and we may not know why it is that we were chosen. But something like this is bringing awareness to what assault actually is. What is sexual assault? Because I still have people who are commenting on my videos who saw the video of Jasmine dilapidated, just unconscious, I kept saying the word despondent, but that wasn't the right word, unresponsive on the dance floor, flopping over. And they saw that with him lifting her up and holding her up, spitting on his hand and shoving it up under her frock, who is still like, that's not rape. And I think that this is great that the national conversation is being started. You know, so many of us talk to our daughters about, that was 2 New York daughters. So many of us talk to our daughters about not being raped. But I think it's high time that we started talking to our sons about what consent is. What does consent look like? What does it look like when you don't have consent? Because I will say this. There are people who are saying that Jasmine Island had rehearsed this, help stop me. And I want to address that in a whole different video, that she rehearsed this. This is all a hoax or whatnot, right? And I will say this. You meet a person who you don't know. on the dance in a nightclub. You meet a person you don't know on the dance floor nightclub. Let's say the person is playing around by acting unconscious. You gonna still go for it on the damn dance floor? How much do you not love yourself that you feel that it is okay to continue to pursue? Let's say she was grabbing on his eggplant and all this other stuff. Let's say she was when she was coherent. But then a person becomes incoherent, and then what? You keep going for it? You don't know this person. This is not your woman. You don't have a pre-arranged agreement. And this is what I said inside the Bill Cosby cases. Listen, Bill Cosby had enough money to be able to draw up legal documents for a person to sign to hold himself non-culpable. But no, he didn't do that. There was no indication of ongoing consent. Even if a person, this is what I'm saying, the national conversation needs to be had. Even if there is a person who consented to one act, there is a thing called ongoing consent, where a person has to continue to give consent. Just because you consent to one thing doesn't mean you consent to everything. Let's say you consent to some manual manipulation of the genitals. That doesn't mean you consent to sodomy. And if that's the case, you know what? I read this post inside of a group on Facebook that said, men understand when it comes to their bodies, they understand ongoing consent or the lack thereof. Because let's say a man consents to vaginal penetration. Does that mean that she can just flip him over, put on a strap on and start she wouldn't be as strong as he is, or drug him and then penetrate him anally? Does that mean that she has the right to do that because he consented to one thing? Let's say she's into some stuff that he may not be into. Does that mean that she takes away his ability to consent so that he comes to and there's another man inside the room riding him from the back? I mean, come on. I mean, it's like because we feel penis goes in vagina, because we feel women belong to men, we don't take the time to actually investigate. Does that woman want that man? Is that girl able to consent to that male? And we're talking about R. Kelly here too. Even if the parents sold the daughters, a 14-year-old cannot consent. Listen to what Mia said. Listen! A 14-year-old cannot consent. Even if her parents had every intention in the world to sell her, a 14-year-old still cannot consent. An unconscious person cannot consent. A person below the legal age cannot consent. And then in certain states, as you know, we read the statutes on this channel. In certain states, if the distance in age is more than 5 years, she cannot consent to you legally. Listen to what it is that I'm saying. And so many of us out there need to wake up. Wake the hell up. And it's time. It's high time. So you know what? Congratulations. Look, I tapped my gele to the young ladies who have come out strong in this fight. I believe that this case is going down in history. This is history in the making right here. This is the national conversation we've been waiting to have, and so many of us out there ignorant. And you know what? Here's your wake-up call, babies. Here's your wake-up call. And here's your wake-up call to any business out there who is, I don't even want to say who has a liquor license and is not protecting its patrons. Here is a wake-up call to all the businesses out there who are in business, taking money from people, having people entrusted in their safety and care, who are not up to the task of protecting their patrons. Listen. This is why lawsuits like this were made. Reckless endangerment, reckless negligence. Listen, reckless indifference. You buy a nightclub with a history of sexual assaults, which means that you knew when you bought that club. You knew something was fishy in the air. You knew something was not right. And instead of having your due diligence saying, you know what, it's a new day. No more of that old monkey business. None of that here. It's a new day. This club is under new management. I mean, I guess there was a reason why the old management left. But then listen, do we know for sure the connection between old management and new management? Because, you know, sometimes people say, oh, bruh, grand opening. Meanwhile, surprise, same people behind the company. So we don't know. I'll look into that. But to buy a club with a history of problems, and instead of saying, you know what, I'm going to protect the patrons. It's a new day. No more of that old stuff. New management is in town. There's a new sheriff here. Instead of saying that, you have an urban night where people come out patronizing your business. Pre-bought ticket sales. Now listen to what me say. Pre-bought ticket sales. Which means you knew how many people were coming. You knew what type of security needs you would have. And instead, you leave your floors, your VIP areas, your unmonitored areas free and available for people to go into these raping rooms. Listen to what it is that I'm saying. Turning the bathroom into a raping room. And so you know what? Listen. There are people who are criticizing Tonya. Tonya's being dramatic, saying raping rooms. Listen, we already see that there is a history of assault at this club. And if there are sections of the club which are known to the people who are in part of this rape group, that they can go with unfettered access and be able to assault people. Yes, those are, by my definition, raping rooms. You could call them what it is that you choose to. This is what TonyaTko chooses to call them. Raping rooms. Let's be forthright about it. Because he knew exactly where to take her. And the people from this alleged rape group knew where to take them to. No bathroom attendants. Nobody looking around for people stumbling. This is unbelievable. This is bad business. And you know what? You want to talk about bad business? Shut them down, shut them down, shut them down, down, down. Let's get these people out of business. Listen, if you don't want the responsibility of being in business, let us go alleviate you of that. And on that note, I'm going to get out of here. Listen. I'm disgusted right now, just disgusted. I'm going to get out of here. I want to hear your thoughts below. Have you heard anything else than what I've heard? This is breaking information right here. And I have a surprise for you. I'm having an exclusive interview coming up soon. And we're going to jump into depth about what it is that's going on behind the scenes. We're going to keep this conversation going. And we're going to make this conversation become national. Because I'm sure that there's some people that you mentioned this to and they've never heard of this. When I was making my phone calls around in Atlanta, even calling some of the police departments, some of them hadn't even heard of this. But you know what? Let's change that. Let's keep the conversation going. Let's get this conversation and this question into the mouths and ears of every man and woman, every young man and young woman, every boy and girl. Let's talk about what consent is and what consent is not. What does the absence of consent look like? Listen, the absence of a no is not a yes. Only the presence of a yes by a person legally able to give that yes and under circumstances which make that yes legal. Only that person can give a yes that can be taken as a yes. Let me get the hell out of here. I'm so sick and so disgusted right now. Let me calm down. Listen, speaking of calming down, for those of you who are under duress and under stress and your life is overwhelming, I have a free complimentary MP3 on my website for relaxation to help you release and alleviate yourself of some of these, especially with the news cycles the way they are, with our lives compounding the way they are. Come over to my website and get your complimentary Relax MP3. You know that I am a certified clinical hypnotherapist, and I've created this MP3 to assist you in releasing and relaxing. I give it to you complimentary for joining my mailing list. All right, so listen, I will see you on the other side. I'll see you in the comments. Let's talk. Listen, let's get to the bottom of this. Let's keep the conversation going, and let's listen. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You know what? I'm thanking this story for choosing me. Thank you. Thank you. Because I'm rising to the task of getting this conversation national. Let's get it. Let's go. Come on. Comment below. Share this video. Like the video. Thumbs up the video. Those things matter for the YouTube algorithm. So listen, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. TonyaTko, and I am out. Go out there and love one another. But most importantly, what? Love yourself. Love yourself. And part of loving yourself, part of self-love is being your brother and your sister's keeper. from an individual standpoint and from a business standpoint as well. Love yourself enough to be your brother and your sister's keeper, so that you, personally, you do no harm. And you enact a conscious business that you know is doing no harm either, that you mitigate to the best of your ability. This is what we're talking about. Grotesque, gross, flagrant indifference. Dare we say negligence? Good God. TonyaTko, and I'm out. Peace.